Fox News contradictions and conservative contradictions have become my favorite thing because it shows an utter lack of giving a shit. It's so lazy. And usually if you're engaged in political discussions or economic discussions, you need to know something. So you can't just be lazy and throw shit out there and hope it sounds convincing enough for people. Well, actually, maybe that's not true with the Fox News audience. That might actually work because these guys are dim bulbs. So they're in their bubble all the time, and that means that any attack on any Democrat for any reason will do, even if it makes no sense. So for years now, Fox has maintained that income inequality and the wealth gap, it's just a non-issue. It just doesn't matter. In fact, they say it's supposed to be like that. The country is supposed to run like that because, hey man, America's a meritocracy. The harder you work, the further you go. So, of course, we should have some CEOs making $500 million a year. And, of course, we should have some assholes, in Cleveland who only make, I don't know, $12,000 a year and are unemployed most of the time. That's the way the system works, man. It's however these guys, some people are biologically superior to others and they work harder and they deserve everything and the other guys deserve nothing. So this has been their line for a long time. It's always been the conservative idea. Now, of course, it's objectively not true because the U.S. isn't a meritocracy. I mean, have you never heard of a situation where the friend of the boss, his nephew gets hired over the more qualified person? Have you seen none of the studies where if somebody has a traditionally sounding African-American name, but they have a good resume, they don't get picked because of their name? But then the second that they change the name to a white name, they immediately get hired. I mean, it's so obvious that the U.S. is a meritocracy. I mean, just another example, if the minimum wage had kept up with the productivity of the worker, it'd be about $15 an hour right now. But it's not. It's $7.25. So it's not true. If it was a meritocracy, the minimum wage would be the $15 because you're getting what you earn, right? The harder you work, the further you go. And also, I mean, look, the idea that everybody works their way up through the ranks if they work hard, that's not true because you're always going to need people to be at the so-called bottom rung of the ladder where they're serving the fast food or doing whatever other job that might be a minimum wage job. So again, it's just nonsense. But get this. So that was their argument for so long. It's supposed to, income inequality is fine. It's not an issue. It's supposed to be like that. Well, guess what? They just decided yesterday, boom, now income inequality does exist. Now income inequality is a problem. It is horrible. It is something we should focus on and blame Obama. I love that. I love it so much, man. I can't even tell you. Because it's Fox News 101. The thing is, there's such a disconnect between all the different hosts and they're all not smart. So, you could have one day they could be arguing all day long that we're supposed to have income inequality. That's what it is. And then the next day, and they don't even realize it, they're like, oh yeah, income inequality is at an all-time high. It's such a big problem. It's the worst thing in the world. It's so terrible. And by the way, blame Obama. It's his fault. Totally. 100%. God, you guys are so stupid. Do you not realize that both those things can't be true at the same time? It cannot be that income inequality is fine and it's not a problem and you're in favor of it, but at the same time you're against it and it's a problem and blame Obama. But again, that's the thing. However you can defend your own ideology and attack the other guy, that's what you're going to do. So even if it's contradictory, contradiction, schmontradiction, who cares? And it reminds me of the people who are the global warming deniers, the science deniers, because they did this all the time too. Another blatant contradiction. So what I found is that these guys would argue, number one, it's not getting warmer. It's just not true that we have global warming. It's false. It's not correct. Not happening. It's staying the same. The temperature's always been around this range. It's fine. Okay, that's the first argument they make. Then they'll make the argument that, no, it's not global warming. It's global cooling. When there's a cold day, now all of a sudden it's global cooling. And Stuart Varney, he's one of the main guys who did this. Donald Trump did this. Other people all around Fox News. Oh, yeah, it's global cooling. It was cold in Memphis for 0.1 degrees below the average on March 23rd, so it's got to be that global cooling's happening. Wait, so which is it? Is the temperature not getting warmer and staying the same, or is it getting cooler? Both things can't be true if you're talking about the climate. The climate is one thing. It's either trending in the same direction or it's trending cooler. Which is it? But then there's a third layer that they throw in there because they're just that stupid. They say it is getting warmer, but it's a good thing that it's getting warmer. Newt Gingrich made that point the other day. He's like, well, look, man, a lot of people are trying to move from Minnesota to go to the Caribbean for a vacation. So wouldn't it be great if we were all on a Caribbean vacation all the time? I can't even get into how stupid that is because I don't have the time to go into it. I think you understand how stupid that is. But they're making all three arguments at the same time. The temperature's staying the same, the temperature's getting colder, and the temperature's getting warmer, but it's okay. It can't be all of those things. It has to be only one of those things. It's a logical contradiction. It can't be all of them at once. But again, logic doesn't matter.